The common street persons on this America place, they're destroyers. How many artifacts have they diminished? They are the only problems. Remove the white with hallmark race, also the cases of then would remove also the N-word. The N-word doesn't come from black person, it comes from the white with hallmark race. We gotta clean up this place. Too many of these accountancies, Nazis, it doesn't care about anyone, but what deal maximum damage via this hideousness. They already covered a lot of the words, also how the words are supposed to interpret. It's always ha, this relaxed value, so you cannot be at fighting. Look at the degree these poets. Check out how all the European guys today are some kind of whiny. They've been reduced. I mean, it could be a reasonable for a generalization. It could be a lot comes from sort of their own misdoings or. But by the way, it's gotten to such a cultural level. Original Papa also gotten to such a cultural level contamination that there are lots of group mistakes. How does one reject group mistake? At the trial, one almost has to isolate from the society to defend himself from such contamination for spreading through or sort of along with the group mistakes. A couple of the group's mistakes are still producing app. You should be putting rifles together. The enemies is a deadly attack. It's gotten to cultural level contamination. As soon as a nationalist start brawling, all of a sudden, as if he's such a danger, as if he doesn't belong to society, as if he's so powerful. Also, or dominate the other. He even started to dominate his victory. The Muslim, regional couple of the cases of Muslim, they does the Muslim victory. They go quiet. They won't declare, I'm going to murder somebody. Nationalism does that much more of. At current, there aren't even a government right now. That's gotten how bad it's towards of a while. There's Nazi with this. We spent years at these education. To go to McDonald's, it continues to be a war zone. In these posts with a smile, with a genericalism, doesn't interact with just sort of police. If you do some wild stuff, then they just laugh and jeer. The ridicule is probably a major Nazi infliction. It doesn't deal towards non-nationalists as much. Towards non-nationalists, they probably call them names or insults. That's sort of a respect. While towards the nationalists, they ridicule. So it's almost like someone important walks and says, he's such a funny guy. But usually when we does, it's quite different. Societies are plagued, mass amount of these elected Cormac peasants to this. They came as, since the beginning of the agriculture spawned this mass amount of these mental institutions have gotten to such a major level. So also they are fairly potent criminals. While these a lot of algorithms caters to them, particularly they're anti-everyone, aren't they? They're anti-reptiles, they're anti-pandas, they're anti-mammals. What do they like? Who do they like? They don't like any pets. How could someone not like any pets? Everyone likes pets. Although it may not be everyone, but almost everyone likes pets. We got to the level of explain to that, or we often have to explain a lot in order to persuade someone, not even just the public. That's how much this drench has gotten to. These are monsters. These are fucking mentais. The English language itself has been such a slow pace. How do they speak? For example, support North Korea, Kim Jong-il. For Kim Jong-il, we fight. That's one. Their version goes, in terms of supporting to Kim Jong-il, we would like to support. That's not a slogan anymore, guys. It goes always a literal level. They has no predators, man. The police protect the good police would even fight them because they're sort of controlled by public shame. Who controls the public shame? The status quo. The zombies. The 7 billion freaks that wages a clone war. Even for certain good elements within this education, they would have directly targeted a lot of the other persons. Whereas probably they will be much more problematic, but as things divide, probably also fairly problematic, of sort of a set of, or probably a bit of different problems. Europe currently has no kings. This republicanism has been not any society at all. Should we start listening to how these creatures scream when they're getting gutted or stuff like that? It happens, and over here is all this joyfulness is because they've been fooled by the government. After the top of the government will be still seen as hideous nonsense. We're even banned from reacting to certain probably. Starting from the effort, when it's from Nazi suggestion, it's already bad. Or it's from Nazis. The poses as if from one of the former leaders. These are underling bosses. The economy works like sort of a casino. They're sort of casino master where they just act as someone who got ripped off while they rip off all the businesses to this level that they got access to any places almost. While it doesn't have to work. Despite being mediocre as they are also number-based. Treated as if equality, also yet still retain to certain economic status. Also, let's just shuffle. There are enough problems of not enough persons working. It's not necessarily when our guys speak something, it's not so generates the result is such a major impact, because there's simply no knights left. There are no knights left. Those are not knights. They're hideous people. It's a scenario of the villains from Superman, and also their villains of this sort of, or probably lots of these evil lords, or lots of these Nazi gluten self-pacifists, also real Papa and that also real Papa also self-pacifists. They sort of checked each other out by being here simultaneously together. They sell humans. Suppose it becomes illegal. They are threatening much more threatening than lions. They could shoot lions directly tomorrow or next week. They don't bother to do that because it would be alarmism. Always in that meticulous calculation, fake words, fake emotions, doesn't care about harmony. Who the fuck does that? Notice, there aren't even any criminals in this world. Just the Nazis that are absolutely nonsenses. Then why we have to come up with our personalities to adapt, as therefore they're indestructible, or come up with a lot of stories in order to adapt to this hideous nonsense. Don't we do that? Or Papa doesn't a lot of common person does that? This is the ongoing war. The Bible wouldn't have been written as sort of more sugarcoated, even for the massive amount of these 7 billion aggressive freaks. Cannot wait to pour assets onto them. That's an example of the level that should be dealt with. If a person has a problem with it, it's not necessarily morally wrong. Reasonable stated, it's just too much of the Nazis to cover at certain places. These are against dragons. If they continue to fight us, the Dragon Council, check out what the insects can feed them off of. That the mercuries be pulled into the hijacked corpse and be uplifted, the spinal cord immediately be shifted out from the gravitization of probably shifting them into certain barrels. Let these be hammered onto CNN directly, also poetically barbaric. Original Papa shifted into the CNN. That's an allergic reaction one's supposed to be. Why would it be done such? Probably not to a lot of the ones that doesn't receive it. It wouldn't be sort of hammered to it. It's fun. Score points. It's called sports, man. Upgrade to today's age is sports. The world is led by will. At least sort of non-Nazi Papa, or Papa also supposed to. Here from Fugers, one of the probably representative of Papa also that I told you before. Hear from one of the representative of few. National Socialists are not dangerous people. 7 billion are Nazis. They does not form friendly relation with anyone. Darwin had of something that's high class. There shouldn't be any arrogance. He cannot just be technical. He has to be upper class for it to be an intellectual. Darwin at least has some sort of arrogance. He may not be a particularly bad person, but simply his vision of a bit of arrogance. If that's a source, and it's not sort of as general, right? Or with a bit of arrogance. Also, his books doesn't mention about the 7 billion issue. He prioritizes centralism. The white race, a lot of the white people are such a menace, man. How to fix them? Pound against them? They don't even react properly. It's utterly almost like white people are supposed to, after they know that they're not handsome, then they just go crazy. But they don't go frantic crazy. That's probably more sane. They just steady goes, oh, then keeps on going. Hopefully they can go to jails if they wish, properly coordinate, otherwise there's going to be some funky business going on. What a bunch of hideous freaks. Right, just one samurai. Just one samurai left. While Christianity being infiltrated. Mission Impossible, guys, to counter the 7 billion. But Mission Impossible at the plot, we know who succeeds. Let's continue this work. They reduce our guys, they drug a lot of our guys. 7 billion are considered, are they all poor? A lot are middle class, probably more are middle class in terms of percentages. How many artifacts? How much does they continue to want to be Ripper? How much does Netanyahu also others want to wait? Continue the work for our fuel out of it. Suppose if someone doesn't agree, he's Their view Adolf Hitler. How about Uncle view? Right? We're not Nazis. We're sentient beings. We're proper persons. We respect one another. It doesn't come sort of from learning. If one doesn't immediately sort of has this reaction, that's probably at least a mental. You should belong to one of the mental institutions. Speaking of mental institutions, check out these apartments. The consensus doesn't speak to one another, even though they're almost identical. Reasonable doesn't speak to its identical consensus stuff. Also, recommendation perhaps of more of militarization on the militaries. Recommend for governments to assemble their drone fleets, to increase GPS surveillance, to boost the army from, perhaps it will be primarily come from Middle East, the land without so much liberalism. Also not so much with white Quama people. Notice white people isn't even Caucasian, they're not European, they're the Jews. There has been the problem with almost every stuff. The person that invents printer has died, or equivalent got murdered. Right? Someone that graduates today's colleges, especially, will be someone who's entirely a pacifist. Otherwise, they wouldn't allow them to even graduate. The harassments are constantly there. It just won't get reported as they're probably brutal, they're vicious. So if they're brutal, what should the message be? We shouldn't hesitate, but yet we should probably try to be as cooperative or lesser towards sort of excess usages of weapons, but still not hesitant towards encounter, towards Nazis where it's needed. Strike where these has its terror compounds located at enough. Resolvable at enough. Resolvable also, that's it of this video, or also video instance for resolvable, that's it of this video. Or probably also video instance.